Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and welcome to the Batcave tour for 2018. I believe the last time I did one of these was right after Eric moved in back in 2016, and we have added quite a bit of things and moved quite a lot around since then. I thought it was high time we did another room tour. I'm not gonna tackle the rooms in the back this time. Sometimes I've done that with these Batcave tour videos, but back here is the comic room now. That used to be the tiny game room, and I have a tour of that on the channel from a couple years ago. If you ever want to see what my video game collection looks like and the way I used to have it organized, all that's upstairs now, and at some point I might do a video on that, although it's not a big video game space anymore. It's pretty cool looking. It's all set up in my living room so that on a projector, so that we can project a lot of video games. But anyway, that room back there is in somewhat disarray. I'll give you a quick peek of it real quick. This is my comic vault, and eventually I want to make it look a lot more vaulty, but there's all my comic boxes, and you know, I've got a lot of decorations and things set up in here right now, but there's quite a lot I want to do with this room, and I'm not really ready to show it off too much yet. So anyway, there's that, and then back here is the old spawn room, and it is... I should fix that picture there, but back here is Eric's room now. That's where the spawn set used to be. I'm not going to show you that right now because that's Eric's space, and he may not want anybody to see his room until he has spent some time making it all pretty and however he wants people to see it. People have asked me to try to get Eric to do a collection video, and so he may show you some of his room if he ever gets around to doing that. But of course, he has a massive trade collection. People have been asking to see that, and people have been asking to see my comic book collection. I am seriously considering doing a live show at some point where I go through every comic box and just let it take as long as it's going to take, do a marathon through my comic collection. That's one of many ideas I have for the 10th anniversary of Geekvolution for next year. We're coming up on that, and so there's even some ideas of things I might have done this year that I could just pass off as big anniversary events. But anyway, so I wanted to start here because you guys are used to this space, but have not seen necessarily a lot of the rest of the basement, and the Batcave. I just turned around and showed you a quick glimpse of it. So now some of you guys, if you've never seen it, have a better sense of this room and the space. But this is, of course, Geekvolution headquarters. We call it the Batcave. It's all Batman in here. And again, this is where Eric and I shoot the Geekvolution Omnibus, our 6 to 8 hours we spend together every 3 weeks going through as many things as humanly possible to review. And this is, of course, where I do all of my editing. This setup has not changed much over the last few years. At one point, I had 3 monitors, but that was kind of overkill, and I didn't really need that third monitor too much, so I've stopped using it. I would like to put more monitors on the wall. I have probably said this every time I've done a Batcave tour, just because it makes it look a little bit more Batcavey, but I've also got so much going on the wall, and I would have to sacrifice some of the cool posters and things that I have, some of the prints and things, so I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing that, but it is a little bit more Batcavey now because I have this TV, and you guys will have to pardon me with all the lights in here. I've got a lot of camera lights and things set up to try to have some even camera lighting over here where we shoot. But so I do have 3 monitors, but one of them I'm not connecting to the computer, except I can Chromecast from there, and I do use that occasionally for that. But anyway, so that's a big addition to this room. We didn't used to have that big TV there. That's where Eric and I watch Manias now. When we do when we did Batmania, we watched a lot of things on that TV. And, well, I say that. Was that there yet? I can't even remember now. I think it was. But anyway, so we have watched things together there, and that's been a real kind of nice thing to have in here. The shelf up here, this bat shelf, that's new. That's a thing I found at Hobby Lobby, and I've got a couple of little statues there. I want to thank David Crabtree, who has supplied quite a bit of the new decor in here over the last couple years. He has sent me a occasional packages and has found me some really cool, especially 60s Batman stuff, and I wanted to say thanks to him. So that Batman doing the Batoozy, I think there are 2 Batoozy things in here now. That came from him, as did the red bat phone there, which sadly does not actually work. It's just a bank, but it's really cool and really nice to have that represented. I've always wanted to put a landline down here and have an actual bat phone, which would be completely impractical, but would be really fun to have. And I'd still like to do that eventually, get a red phone and do that, but it's nice to have a replica of that phone anyway. And Michael Keaton back there is brand new. I just bought him yesterday. That was a display from '92, I believe. I'm pretty sure that is Batman Returns as opposed to '89. And that also came with another display. Both of these were brought to Vintage Stock by the same person. And I bought them both right after she dropped them off. They came from an old movie theater here in town, here in Overland Park, Kansas. We live in the Kansas City area. And so I also got this display, which is super cool looking and surprisingly fits perfectly under the desk. I racked my brain for a good 10 minutes trying to decide where exactly that thing was going to go, and got really excited when it fit so snugly down there. This is a soft plastic and is 25 years old and was in a movie theater for a good 12 years, and it's astounding that it's in as good a shape as it is. Eric sent me a picture of both of these, and I didn't think I wanted this. It didn't look as cool in just a picture. And then when I got there and I realized the size of it and how old it is and just what it looks like, I was like, no, I have to have that too. Got a nice deal on both of those. But yeah, it has a few little scratches, which I don't even know if those will pick up on camera, but it looks almost perfect. It's great. And these wings extend out, and I actually had them extended yesterday, but I wanted to put them down here, or put this display down here, so I put them back in. But this is Velcro in the back, and you can pull this off and then extend the wings out. And I'm pretty sure that was intended, actually I'm positive because it's 92, that this was intended as a promotional item for Batman Returns. So of course the wings extend out because Batman in Batman Returns has that glider suit. So anyway, that was a wicked cool find and I'm super excited about it. So that is what the desk looks like and everything around the desk. I've got my comic rack back there, which is just the heaviest thing I own and is awful, and I kind of hate it, but I'm able to display things on it, which is nice. And I put different comics behind us from time to time, and I will continue using that as long as the basement, as long as we have the basement the way it is right now. Now, next year, we're going to remodel this room, and that's part of the reason I wanted to go ahead and do another Batcave tour, because this will be the last one before the remodel. So you notice I've got these not so great looking, kind of filthy carpets. It has flooded down here a couple of times, and no, I never lost too much collection-wise in the floods, but they were awful. That's happened, I think, 3 times since we moved in 6 years ago, and so these carpets need to be replaced, and the ceiling needs to be replaced. So looks pretty good in this corner, but when you start looking at the rest of the ceiling, it starts to look pretty awful. It gets really industrial, because when we were remodeling our kitchen upstairs, we had to take some of these tiles out in order to deal with some plumbing things, and it started to look like the ceiling could collapse a little bit. You know, it does not look like the sturdiest thing, and so we have left these tiles out, and it looks kind of awful. So anyway, we're going to replace the ceiling. We're going to put different tiles in, a different structure. I'm sure it will be a different color, and then we're going to put in a tile floor that might be kind of a wood aesthetic, or or might be more of like a kind of a, you know, cavey, rocky thing. I'm not sure what exactly we're going to put in yet, but we've been looking at different things. And we're also going to be putting in a wet bar. So we're going to take this entire kitchenette out, and which I don't use a lot. This refrigerator has kind of worked on and off for the last couple of years, and I don't really use it anymore. This stove we unplugged a long time ago. I don't use it. I do use the sink, but that's about it. So we're going to take all of this out, and we're going to put in a Batcave wet bar. And my wife has designed it. We're really excited about it. It's going to be awesome. But anyway, so it has been really nice having this kitchenette down here. I used to use it, again, as I said, more than I do now. But, you know, it's nice to have a sink there. And what else do I want to say about this? There's some cool pictures here. This is my... I need to replace some of the trim here. I've got the bottom piece of that, but it's not on there right now. Anyway, but that is a Neil Adams picture, signed by Neil Adams. I've got a few signatures from different comic artists and different people associated with Batman down here. Of course, one of my big pieces of pride and joy is my Adam West Batarang. Some of this stuff will be things you've seen before, but I like to point out the coolest stuff down here for anybody that hasn't seen it before. This Detective Comics piece I got for Christmas, I think a couple of years ago, or maybe last year, I forget now, and you see it now in the back of all of our videos, and that is a Tim Sale thing, and it's nice because it doesn't glare. It's not my favorite cover or anything, but I really like these kind of canvas things that have come out. I love to get a few more of those. I just love how giant they are, and it's really cool how popular comic covers have become to decorate in. And then up here is my Lee Merriweather drawing. This was a thing that, I think this is the first sketch I ever had commissioned at a convention, and Lee Merriweather was really impressed with it when she signed it for me. Of course, I had that done up because she was at that convention. This was, I think, 4 years ago now, and the artist that I had draw that, who did this print, so this is not an original sketch over here, but this print of Frank Gorshin Riddler, I found him at the same convention. This is Planet Comic Con here in Kansas City, the next year, and I was like, do you have Lee Merriweather? Because I really love the Riddler picture that I have from you, and I'd like to have a Lee Merriweather. And he was like, no, I don't, but I can do you one. And he gave me a great deal on it. I think I spent $60 on that, not counting Lee Merriweather's signature, and Merriweather was really impressed with it, and so that was a really fun experience. Okay, so some other cool stuff on the wall. Of course, that signature with the Gorshin picture is not Gorshin, but is the artist who drew it, or I said drew it for me, who made that print. And then let's go ahead and just kind of go around the room and look at some other things, shall we? So this is a little bit in disarray because I have added some new things to this and I'm running out of space, but this is my collection of superhero and comic book TV shows. Not nearly as extensive as my collection of movies, which of course is back here, and I have done videos on specifically this collection before, so I'm not going to run through a lot of the DVDs today, the DVDs and Blu-rays, but I'll just kind of give you a glimpse at it. So I collect, as a lot of you guys know, every movie based on a comic book or that technically falls into the superhero category, and I'm doing the same thing with TV shows now, which is going to get absolutely insane because of how many of those there are now. And as you can tell, even with these 3 shelves, not really made a dent yet. I have some cool obscure stuff. I have even some more recent things. I've got Arrow all the way up through season 4. I've got a little bit of Gotham, a little bit of Flash, a little bit of Legends, so I'm gaining, but I buy these things when they're on sale because so much of it is really easy to watch streaming and stuff. I got a couple of things bootlegged that you can't really buy. Like I've got all 3 seasons of the animated Tick. 3rd season never came out. I am starting to get the factory DVDs for those as well, the ones I can get. I've got X-Men in the correct order, but of course all those actually do exist. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about that collection because I have done, again, videos on that itself, but those are some of the few things that aren't just straight up Batman related. Now, you guys might remember remember from previous tours, I used to have all of Batman isolated over here, and I've decided finally to just put all of that together because it makes it a little bit easier to find things, and it's especially easier if somebody else needs to come down here and grab something. So this shelf, and also I just kind of needed the space. So this shelf right now I'm not using this to display real well, but I might eventually rebuild my old Lego Batcave. I have the first Lego Batcave from the early 2000s, I think, and that used to be built and down there, but when my son Jason was really little, I think like 2, he pulled some of it apart, and so I pulled it out of there, and I haven't rebuilt it yet. But that space is kind of more or less vacant. I have a few things down here, some wooden batarangs and things. This is dusty, and I need to, well, it's not horribly dusty. But anyway, this is a custom, I've shown this before, Batman 66, like radio. And Eric got me this for, I think, the first Christmas that he was here. Bat Transmitter is what this is called. And it's one of my favorite things. It's really super cool. I love how much Batman, how much 60s Batman stuff I have now. Of course, there's just a lot more of that these days. If you're wondering how I'm lighting up some of these displays, I've just got tap lights up under here, and this was an idea that I got from a Nintendo room video that I saw, and there was a guy doing that with those, and so I'm slowly but surely putting those in a lot of these kind of nooks and crannies in this room. So anyway, I thought that was a really cool idea. That is a framed Batman 89 vinyl record, and this is one of the first prints I ever bought, this colored Harley Quinn, and also this print of a bunch of villains over here. Those were from the same guy, and I bought those, I think, the first year I went to Metropolis for the Superman celebration. And I always like those a lot. I try to frame prints whenever possible so that I don't have to put tax in them, and they just look classier that way. As you've noticed over the years, I've gotten less and less posters. I've kind of gotten away from posters, I should say, and I've started to add more original art and more prints. And I have too many prints now to put up, especially of other superhero things in other places in the house, but I'm out of space, obviously, as you can tell, for Batman stuff, and when I get more original artwork and things like that, I have a couple of original like sketch covers, because I've gotten onto a big sketch cover kick, and those are not actually out here anywhere at the moment. I think I've got one behind this Fantastic Four comic. Yeah, there's my Frank Gorshin Riddler sketch, and there might be a Lord Zed Batman back here. Yeah, there he is. There it is. So these are, okay, so these are out here. These are my 2 Batman sketch covers, and I should put these on the wall somewhere. I should probably get these framed. But anyway, I just have these other covers here because I like to have recent comic covers behind me when I'm doing the vault. But anyway, what I was saying a minute ago about the collection of superhero movies and TV shows is that is some of the only stuff in this room that's not Batman. Eventually, I'd really like to expand that out and make a room mostly for superhero movies and things associated with that. So down the road, when Eric moves out, I might try to do something in that space with that, and probably the Tick collection, because I've had, and there is a video on that if you're interested, of all my Tick stuff. I have a pretty extensive collection of Tick merchandise, and it covered up half that room at one time. I'd like to bring it back eventually, but right now it's all in a closet because I don't have space for it anywhere. Anyway, this Batman, or Lego Batman display was for the DVD, and this came from the store that Eric works at, and he saved that for me. He scavenged it and brought it home, which was super cool of him. So now I have 2 of these cardboard displays, which I barely have space for, but I was able to kind of work it in, so that's good. This Mad Hatter and pink cowled Batman figure from one of the oddest episodes in 60s Batman, I should say. Also came from David Crabtree. Thanks a bunch for that. And then this, I should have turned this light on over here, but anyway, this is a cool 60s Batman picture that I got from Vince, so thanks for that, and he gave me that framed. And then just some other odds and ends back here. I've had this Batman Begins kind of door poster forever. And I've had this poster for a million years as well. Like I said, I still have a few posters up here and there, but you notice that they're all going farther and farther back, or I should say farther and farther to the front, because this is, of course, the door to the Batcave. There I am. Hello. And as I get more, again, custom stuff and you know, stuff that is not as easy to get, I'll start taking some of these posters down. But I like to have Begins represented as much as I can, and this is kind of unsightly, but this is where a lot of the costume stuff from Spawn Year wound up. Speaking of that, this is the Nightfall Asbat suit that Pierce built us for Batman Year. Batman Year is on hiatus right now. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to finish it and bring it back. I've not officially canceled it because I want to at least finish reviewing Nightfall, if not finish telling that story. And for a lot of different reasons, it's been impossible to get back to that and finish it the way I originally had planned, which is a crying shame. But I do want to do more things with that suit, and I've just not decided exactly what yet, if indeed we're not able to finish that show as we originally conceived it. But I have considered coming back and maybe using that suit in kind of an off-the-cuff series on Nightfall and continue to go in depth and shoot at a couple issues at a time. So there's enough interest in that. I will consider doing that eventually. It might have to be after Morphin Mania at this point. This used to be my shrine to Katie Lotz. As you can see, I have left my Katie Lotz print with autograph there, which I still love and I think works really well in this room, but it's not exactly Batman related, and neither's Clock King there too. I've got his signature. That's another thing that David Crabtree sent me. I didn't actually meet him, but of course would love to. But I went ahead and took down my Katie Lotz shrine. I have quite a few Black Canary things from that from the CW shows, but I'm not as into that as I used to be, and you know, I still love Black Canary when she was the character she was at the beginning, but she's changed quite a bit, and I don't love that character these days as much as I used to, at least the current iteration. But I went ahead and left that last vestige of the Katie Lotz corner there, and it used to be kind of Katie Lotz and Joker. Now it's sort of like the rest of the room, where it's just different Batman things. So there are a few Joker things here, but it's not just a shrine to the Joker. I would love to get more like paintings and prints of screenshots from the Joker in '89. I've got a couple. I would love for that to turn into more of a collection, because I think those are great, especially this one. I just think that's absolutely fantastic. Pardon the sound of the heater there. Maybe I should have turned that off before I started shooting. But anyway, I also wanted to show you this really cool figure, which I think I showed on camera when I got it. But haven't found a good spot for this yet, and I like it too much in the box to take it out. I think this is a really cool figure because it looks very comic book and almost two-dimensional, even though it is a three-dimensional thing. So I think it's a really fascinating figure. And I got that from, I think, my father-in-law for Christmas last year. There's the Bat speaker. That's a Bluetooth speaker. I can play music from my phone or any other device on that, which is really cool. And this also came from Mr. Crabtree. Thanks again, David. When he sent the phone, he sent me this. That's also a bank. This is, of course, the Shakespeare head from Batman 66. And yes, of course, as people have pointed out, that should probably be in a different room. That should be upstairs, because you would open it up and then you would, you know, press the button and then go down the bat poles, and so that wouldn't actually be in a Batcave, but I really like it, and there is not a better place for it right now, so that's where it is. And I just love all the representation I have of 60s Batman down here right now, which is really cool. This is the beta tape for Batman 89, thanks to Brandon Grimm for finding that for me. And then these are my Batman gauntlets that I got from Eric a while back. I think this was another Christmas present when Eric first got here. Again, I've not found really anything to do with these, but they're awesome. I love them. I would love to come up with a costume where it would make sense to wear these. And I would put them with the Asbat suit, except it has its own gloves, and they're already really menacing and gnarly and wouldn't really go with these in any way. But that's those. That's one of my favorite things now. I will put this back later. As a matter of fact, pardon me, Joker, this Batman clock I've had since I was a kid. This came out of the old Warner Brothers store, so I bought this probably 97, 98, and I've had that forever. I need to put another battery in it. None of the clocks in here actually work at the moment. Back there is our storage room. I got a Batman curtain that Sarah made for us, so that that was a little bit, you know, less unsightly, and actually that room's pretty clean right now. It looks really good back there, but it's not, you know, Batman related, and it's kind of cool to have something Batman related to lead to it. What else do I want to show you guys? So the thing that's become kind of the biggest conversation piece in this room is my, maybe I should turn some of this off, but is my Batman pop collection. And I have, there I am again, hello. I have, at last count, about 65 of these, and I'm not going to go through all of them individually, but I just thought I would show them to you. People ask me all the time to make a video on this. A few of these are pretty rare. I think the most I've spent on one of these is 30, maybe? I have spent as much as 60 on a pop, but it was a Tick Pop. There was a Comic-Con exclusive of the TV show Tick Pop, but that's of course not down here right now because it's not Batman related. But anyway, so my rule for these is I buy these when I'm in the wild. I never order these like on Amazon or eBay or anything. So every one of these I have found in person and picked up, and I try to prioritize these and grab them up whenever I can. So I've been working on this for a couple of years. When Eric moved here in summer of 2016, I had 5. And I have all of these now, and I think they're a lot of fun. I know it's silly to buy a lot of repaints of kind of the same figure, but I really enjoy them, and they've been kind of fun to show to people. And then I've got some neat stuff down here as well. That Batman robot figure actually broke the other day. You can see his ear there. He just toppled over and it broke. I guess he's flimsier than I realized, so I'm going to have to replace that at some point. That is a grapple gun. That's a replica from, I think the Arkham Origins gun. And it's awesome. And I have shown that on camera before. And then again, there's the superhero movie collection. And that is, I think, about everything. I think that's the news that's fit to print. There's lots of other stuff down here that's like, you know, behind things and in storage that I could pull out and show you, but that's all the stuff that's kind of out and that I have displayed. Here's a lot of trades and things. I've got all my Batman trades still separated out from the rest of the comic collection, but that's the only thing I have separated like that, just because I thought it would be nice to have a lot of Batman's, you know, books on a shelf. And then this is, I guess I didn't show this, this is my collection of Batman 66 Mattel figures, and I finally got Batgirl and Robin, and David sent me those too, which I really appreciate. I almost bought those a bunch of times but never got around to it, and I finally have those. And this Joker statue is signed by Kevin Conroy. You can see his signature back there. I had him sign that just this year. He was absolutely delightful to finally meet. This is another cool Batman statue that I bought at Barnes & Noble a couple of years ago. This light-up bat symbol here was given to me for Christmas, I think last year by Vince. So thanks for that. As you can see, a lot of this stuff, I mean, I bought a lot of things, but a lot of this stuff is also presents I've gotten from people. And a lot of my friends like to go out of the way and try to find Batman things that I somehow don't have or never knew about, which is one of the most exciting things for me. This custom Batman vinyl clock I got from my sister-in-law's boyfriend last year. He's a really cool guy and bought me that, which was really nice of him. And one more thing from David that I should show you is this Geekvolution Batcave pub sign, which he had custom made for us, which is really neat. And it will actually fit better in here next year once we get the kitchenette out of here and we put in that wet bar. But yeah, I think that is everything. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed my Batcave tour. If you go back and compare this to the first video I ever made of this cave, you'll see just how much emptier it was and how crazy this has gotten. Brandon last night was hanging out with me, and he was actually there when I picked up this this plastic sign and that Adam West standee over there, and I was like, and he helped me figure out where to put these in the cave, and I was like, this place is starting to get nuts, and he goes, starting to? Look at it! So anyway, glad to finally show this off for you guys again. Like I said, it's changed quite a bit, and I'm really excited about what it looks like right now, but we'll be over the moon next year when we finally get this room revamped and get the ceiling and the floor done and we get that wet bar in. So I can't wait to show it to you guys once that happens. We're planning on doing that in the spring, so stay tuned for that. And once again, really appreciate you guys watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. And in the meantime, I am Captain Logan, and I'll see you again very soon with lots more content here on Geekvolution.